Since the end of the colonial revolution that was gallantly waged by the Land and Freedom Army, otherwise known as the Mau Mau, and which brought the brutal British colonial subjugation in Kenya to an end, the problem of corruption in government has continued to plague the country, year in, year out. Multiple attempts to end corruption in Kenya have all ended in defeat, as members of the corrupt capitalist ruling class continue to loot the country's resources with impunity. As you already know, a lot of anti-corruption rhetoric has constantly been spewed by members of the corrupt and thieving ruling class. Anti-corruption bodies have been established, commissions of inquiries have been set up, and in some cases, corruption suspects have undergone mock arrests, then hurried up in court for cosmetic prosecutions. Sometimes these prosecutions have raised hopes that finally the government, the corrupt regime, is actually fighting corruption, only for the corrupt to bribe their way out of custody using stolen money. Now, the investigative agencies are corrupt, the prosecutors are corrupt, the judges are corrupt, the court clerks are corrupt, the lawyers are corrupt, the cabinet secretaries are corrupt, the governors are corrupt, the president is corrupt, the deputy president is corrupt. In fact, the anti-corruption authority is the most corrupt institution in the country, making it impossible for any single thief to be brought to justice. What is more, there has been no results in the fight against corruption. Expectations about apprehension of the corrupt thieves have been replaced with new corruption scandals, as old ones are quickly forgotten. In the meantime, millions of Kenyans are not just starving to death in Northeastern, but also living under dehumanizing conditions only fit for dogs. Nothing works. The public has lost hope in the fight against corruption, as members of the thieving ruling class continue to flash wealth and live large after looting state coffers. Apart from the Kenya Red Alliance, nobody knows what needs to be done. In fact, corruption has continued to thrive with each and every pro-capitalist regime that has ever come to power in Kenya, since the days of dictator Jomo Kenyatta, the days of Daniel Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, and now Kenyatta's heir apparent, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. All of these pro-imperialists, pro-capitalists, anti-people puppets have presided over very corrupt and dictatorial regimes as wananchi helplessly stand by, unable to intervene. And the situation is not going to change. Why does corruption continue to remain a big problem in Kenya? And what is the socialist solution that the Kenya Red Alliance is putting forward? To answer this question, it is critical that the key question as to why corruption continues to thrive in Kenya be answered. Kenya is under a political system called capitalism. Although the version of Kenya's capitalism is deformed in the sense that the rules of capitalism are not being followed, the basic political and economic practices under capitalism are in place. How is this arrangement related to corruption in Kenya? The answer is that under a capitalist system of government, the known and acceptable methods of accumulating wealth are through two channels: buying and selling products at a profit, or providing a service, then charging an amount that leaves the middleman, aka contractor, with a profit. As long as those profiteering under this arrangement pay taxes to the government, profit making under the capitalist system of government is legal. However, the perennial problem under any capitalist system is that within government, top government officials like cabinet secretaries, who are well connected to members of the corrupt ruling class, the Rutos, have official access to billions of Kenyan shillings by virtue of their positions in government. Now, how does this arrangement promote corruption? These huge amounts of public funds are usually linked to construction of projects, supply of goods to the public, or provision of public services, undertakings whose implementation are intrinsically connected to awarding of contracts and tenders. You've heard about tenderpreneurs. In almost 100% of corruption cases, revenue lost through sleaze is never stolen through a bank robbery, but through awarding of contracts and tenders to corrupt collaborators working in concert with compromised procurement agencies, corrupt politicians, and their appendages who are in control of public funds. What then happens is that the opportunity to award contracts and tenders in turn creates the opportunity for members of the thieving ruling class to collude with their conspirators who have access to public funds to steal, and in the process, corruption is born. Among the key players who have access to funds and the opportunity to steal from the public, exposure to billions of Kenyan shillings to public officers by virtue of their positions in government usually creates the opportunity to scoop millions or even billions of cash without engaging in the normal methods of profit making under capitalism, that is, buying and selling of products at a profit. Now, why is the urge to steal under the rotten system so strong? Why? Because under normal circumstances, in a capitalist system, it can take years or even decades to legally make billions of profits by running a business, and the opportunity to accumulate huge amounts of cash without engaging in any business is usually so tempting that the players usually find the urge to steal public funds practically irresistible. Now, since from observation, the prospect of successful prosecution after stealing public funds has been zero, the corrupt are permanently encouraged to steal from the public because they know that they will never be caught. They always know that they will use the stolen money to corrupt anyone in authority who can help catch them in their corrupt deals. Now, in the event that they land in court, they always know that they will use stolen money to bribe or corrupt lawyers who then collude with corrupt judges to set them free. Under the class system, facilitated by the capitalist system, the thieving ruling class and their traditional conspirators in the private sector have to sustain their lavish lifestyles at all costs. Secondly, they have to constantly engage in primitive accumulation of wealth. Why? To provide a sense of future security, financial security in their lives in the event that they lose their positions or access to large amounts of state funds. And for this reason, corruption is never going to end. But what is the socialist solution? The first KRA agenda will be to abolish capitalism in Kenya and dismantle the class system that enables top government officials to steal from the public and get away with it. Under a socialist KRA government, MPs and other top government officials will no longer earn millions of Kenyan shillings, but will be on a normal worker's wage. There will be no privileges for people's representatives, while the counties will be put under democratic workers' control and management. KRA will abolish the system of the rich. In short, now to fight corruption, 1, a socialist KRA government will not put huge amounts of public funds under the control of a few people who can collaborate to steal money. Such funds will be put under democratically elected workers' committees to ensure that the intended public projects are not just funded but also completed. 2, under a socialist KRA government, anyone found engaging in any corruption will not just be tried. If found guilty, such thieves will be sent to jail for life or hanged at Uhuru Park. That is how China and North Korea, Cuba, Japan have dealt with the corrupt. You cannot fight corruption when no one is going to jail. 3, if KRA takes over that government, anyone who has ever been mentioned in any corruption scandal in Kenya will be arrested and brought to trial. Their stolen assets will be confiscated by the state. Bank accounts will be frozen. Passports will be seized. Networks will be dismantled. Their collaborators will be rounded up. And after trial, they will suffer the consequences. They will all rot in jail if found guilty. Corruption under capitalism in Kenya continue to thrive because no one is being taken to jail or hanged for corruption, even if they are known to be guilty. Others, like the deputy president, are practically immune to prosecution, despite the numerous propaganda that the government is fighting corruption. The situation will not change as long as the corrupt system of capitalism continues to remain in place. This is our message. Join KRA and let us organize to, throw the thieves in jail or hang them once and for all. Corruption is not a scourge, it's not a cancer in society. It is part and parcel of the capitalist system of government. That is what you are not being told. Understand KRA politics. Join us and help organize the real political alternative that will bring corruption in Kenya to a permanent end. Join KRA today.